time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus, is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, expertise, technology, compassion, all right here. Adams Brown, strategic allies and CPAs, going above and beyond for you. BTI, your John Deere dealer, with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. The Taco Shop, dine in, carry out, or delivery. Since 1970, you've never had it so good. And Eagle, our community connected. Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And a good afternoon and welcome into Tiger Talk here on this Wednesday. I am Gerard Wellbrock, and we're going to have another good show for you today, talking some Fort Hays State athletics. Cross-country coach Jason McCullough, men's and women's soccer, Jerry Cleary, Tyson John joining us, and head football coach Chris Brown on the program today. Jessica Wood-Atkins for volleyball had to be away, but we'll give you an update on their schedule and what's ahead. They'll be back at home this weekend. We'll do that a little bit later on in the program. Again, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us a question. In fact, we had an email question earlier this morning we'll use on the program, and also in-house questions. Chance to win a T-shirt if we use it on the show. Go to the Fort Hays State Athletics website, fhsuathletics.com. Click on the Fans tab. You'll get the drop-down. You'll see Ask the Coach. Submit your question, and again, if we use it, you'll have a chance to win a Fort Hays State football T-shirt from Fort Hays State University Athletics. Tigers with a busy weekend, a lot of home activities going on. We'll get into that as we move along. Right now, though, we're going to jump right into it. Cross-country coach Jason McCullough is with us. The Tigers coming off another good day. They're at the Hornet Harrier Invitational, hosted by Emporia State. Women finished first. The men tied for first. Congratulations. Looked like a pretty good day of running for your guys and gals.
Yeah, it was a good day overall. The women were first, and they were pretty dominant, and the men tied for first. Technically, we lost on a tiebreaker, so that kind of stung a little bit.
Literally,
no pun
Emporia.
intended for Emporia, but yeah, we tied Emporia and lost to them on a tiebreaker. But it was a good day overall for both our teams.
I don't think I've ever heard that before in cross-country, where it comes down to a tiebreaker.
Yeah, and it's different. In high school, it's the sixth runner. They count the sixth runner, and that's who wins. In college, they take their first versus our first, and that's whoever wins gets a point, and they do that for the top five runners. So we lost 3-2 on the tiebreaker, as close as you could get.
But that was a good race, and the women, 5 in the top 8, a good, strong showing, and Reagan Hogsden leads you. A 17:34.8 her winning time, 32 seconds off the course record. That's she had a great day.
She had a great day, and J.C. Vath actually pushed her for most of the race, and I thought J.C. was going to win. But Reagan did win and broke the course record by quite a bit. So right now our top 2 and probably top 3 runners are as good as anybody in the conference, and they're running really well.
You mentioned being pushed. I would think in distance racing, especially in cross country, that is so important. You know, I've heard you talk before about pack running and running together and pushing, and then maybe your top runners pull away late. But it seems like your gals and guys, for that matter, have done a pretty good job of that so far this year.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to run in a pack than it is by yourself. You're trying to push the pace yourself. You're thinking too much. So my goal for our athletes is to get in a good pack and then to stop thinking. So in cross country, that's what you want to do. You want to get in there and stop thinking, because when you start thinking, you overthink. You think about how much you hurt. I just tell them to pretend they're tying a rope to the person in front of them and keep that rope tight.
Let's talk about the guys. Grant Bradley was second to lead your team and averaged just over 5 miles, 5 minutes per mile in the race, and finished in second place.
Yeah, he ran well, and he's been kind of injury prone, so we weren't going to run him, but he wanted to run, so I said, we'll do it as a workout. So he started slow, and then afterwards he was mad that he didn't start out faster, because I think he would have won that race, and that would have broke the tiebreaker, but he ran really well. He came from behind and ran a good race, 54, 54, I believe.
Yeah.
So a good time for an 8K.
Was your team familiar with this course? I mean, you've run in Emporia before. Is the same one they normally use?
It was there at Jones Park, yes. And we've run that about every other year. So we ran it last in 2021 and then 2019 before that.
What about the rest of your team? We heard about, obviously, those who were near the top. The rest of the runners, how they all fared?
Yeah, so on the women's side, our top 3 are juniors, but the next 3 are all freshmen, and we're relying on freshmen to close out our pack, and they're actually running real well right now. So the key is just keeping them healthy so that they can continue to be our 4, 5, and 6 runners. So they're doing well. On the guys' side, we're really young there after our first couple of runners. We have a lot of freshmen and redshirt freshmen, and they ran well. They ran together in a pack, like you mentioned, and I think we had 5 in the top 11, maybe.
Yeah.
And then Emporia's 6th runner was behind our 10th runner, so we actually have a lot deeper of a pack than they do. We just didn't quite have the person up front.
How many teams were there? What levels? What was the competition like in this one?
There was about 8 teams there. There's a couple Division II teams, and then the rest were junior college and NAIA teams. So Emporia and us were the 2 best, obviously, on the men's side. On the women's, we're just right now a lot better than the teams we've faced so far.
You mentioned those freshman runners, and we talked about it earlier this year, the biggest transition going from high school to the collegiate level in running. Have you noticed that adjustment well, and are they coming along and adjusting to that as quickly and maybe to the point you'd like at this time of the season?
Yeah, I think so, and especially for the women because they don't jump up too much in distance. Mm-hmm. They keep doing a 5K and then a 6K for conference and regionals. And the men, they actually jump up from 5K to 8K. So that's a couple miles. So it's a little bit tougher for the men to make that adjustment than the women.
Now, you'll have conference, and we'll get a preview here in just a little bit, a week from this Friday. And we've talked a little about training and the way your schedule goes, the way it does. Do you change your weekly routine as the season goes along, or do you kind of keep it similar and you work on the same miles? How do you adjust that as the year goes along?
Yeah, it changes, and before the bigger meets, so before conference, we won't have a long run, a hard long run. So this weekend, they actually will not practice. They will not meet as a team on Saturday and Sunday. So some of them will still run both of those days, but we won't have a long run and give their legs a little time to refresh, and then have a workout on Tuesday, and then pretty much recover until Friday.
Yeah, Friday, a week from Friday, you'll be in Columbia, Missouri, Gans Creek Cross Country Course, the MIAA meet. Maybe give us a preview first on the course there in Columbia.
Yeah, so Lincoln University is hosting that, and they don't have a course, so they rented out the University of Missouri course, which is a great course. We're doing it on Friday because I think there's a home game on Saturday, so it helps with planning, travel, and all that. So we're some good teams there. I think there are 5 nationally ranked teams on the men's side, and maybe 3 on the women's side. Right now I think our women are ranked kind of low. I think we're probably 5th or 6th in the rankings, but we haven't faced too many of those teams yet. So it kind of be a test to see kind of where we actually are when we get there. So, on the men's side, we're kind of in the middle of the pack right now, so we're kind of see how that folds.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. Always, great competition at the MIAA. There's so many good runners and good teams, and usually if you can do well here, that sets you up for doing well when you get to the regionals a few weeks later.
Yeah, for sure. There's always quite a few MIAA teams that make the national meet, and so a lot of times we're do better at the regional meet than we do at the conference meet. I'm not really sure why, so I'm trying to emulate the training we do for regionals a little bit early, so that we kind of do that for conference instead. But when we get to regionals, we throw in 2 other conferences, right, and we still sometimes do better. So it just shows you how tough our conference is. In the top 10, we'll probably have 7 or 8 teams from our conference in that among 3 different conferences.
All right. Well, anything else you wanted to touch on we didn't get to here today?
I don't think so, Gerard. Just excited about how things are going, and really looking forward to seeing how they test against the rest of the MIAA.
I was going to ask you health-wise. You mentioned you've had a few runners in and out here and there. How's everybody coming along? Because obviously the goal is to get everybody as healthy as possible for the meet Friday and then for the regionals after. Yeah,
health-wise, I've been pretty good. I've learned lately to if you are 100% healthy, it's better than being 100% fit and unhealthy. And so I kind of back off on runners when they start to have little things coming. So that's why it's important as a runner to be honest with your coach and let them know when you're hurting. So we've backed off on a few athletes. Thankfully, we've backed off with Reagan, and now she's coming along and getting healthy. And same thing with Grant. So that's the key, and especially a team like us, if your top runner is hurt, it's going to knock you down in the standings quite a bit.
Well, I'm always hurting, so I never run. So I guess I'm being honest with myself. Jason, as always, we appreciate the visit. Great job in Emporia. Have a great, week and a half of training here, and good luck in the conference championships.
All right. Thank you, Gerard.
There you go. That is Jason McCullough, the cross-country coach at Fort Hays State University. Again, a week from Friday, they'll be in Columbia, Missouri for the MIAA championships. Tiger Talk brought to you by Golden Belt Bank. Your life has a story. Golden Belt Bank wants to get to know that story. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Visit them at goldenbeltbank.com. We'll take a break. More to come on Tiger Talk here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC. Dawson, play action, has time, now he's being flushed, rolls to his left, looks downfield, dumps it over the defense, caught by Shane Watts, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Fort Hays State, 33 yards from Dawson to the running back, Shane Watts, his first career receiving touchdown, and the Tigers are up 6-3 with 2:57 to go in the first. Yeah, some of the action from Saturday in Joplin. Fort Hays State football getting a big win over Missouri Southern. They'll be at home this Saturday afternoon to take on the Lopers of Nebraska Kearney. We'll talk with head football coach Chris Brown here a little bit later. Need to remind you, the Kansas Department of Transportation and the Drive to Zero Coalition invite you to join Tiger fans with a plan. If you're going to be drinking, always designate a sober driver. We're going to talk some men's soccer. Jerry Cleary joining us. The Tigers going 1-0-1 since we talked to the coach last week. Saturday in Tahlequah, played to a 2-2 draw with Northeastern State, and then last night a thrilling 2-1 victory over the Newman University Jets. Jerry, thanks for joining us, and congratulations. Obviously, you'd love to get 2 wins, but I guess the next best thing is a draw and a win, and pretty good week for your guys, it looked like.
Yeah, we've just finished, we've been on the road now for a month, so
yeah.
5 away games. We've covered pretty much 2 or 3 states, so I'm fed up looking at signs that says 60 miles to Hayes, 58 miles to Hayes. But yeah, no, it's been tough. It's been really tough. I think my lads think they make it difficult. I think they're working for overtime. I guess they don't know Brad, where you must score goals to get extra scholarships, so I keep telling them that. But
well, let's talk about the Northeastern State match on Saturday. 2-2 draw, both teams scoring a goal and each half. It's you touched on it. No love lost between the two programs over the years. You came out of there with a draw. How'd you guys play? Just tell us a recap about the match a little bit.
Yeah, both games are very similar. We scored, and then instead of seeing out the last 3 or 4 minutes, we just made it difficult. We made a silly mistake, let them back in the game, and then started the second half pretty badly by making 4 or 5 fouls, because they dressed, I think, 35 players. They dressed. It was like having a football team on the sideline. We have 21. So then when you get all them rallied up, then something's going to happen. Some of the players we still haven't learned to manage that part of the game.
You get the equalizing goal in the 70th minute, and obviously it was a back-and-forth affair, and just couldn't quite find a way to get that extra goal to get the lead. But obviously it was a big goal there to at least get that match tied.
Yeah, and it's the first. I think we had 17 shots, 10 on target, and then we had 12 corners. So we challenged them to get corners, and I think we scored from 2 corners. So maybe you need to get 14 corners. So then we scored 3 goals. I don't know. Yeah, we're just challenging. We're still learning. It's the team is 3 weeks ago we were starting 5 freshmen. Now we're only starting 1 freshman. So now we're just starting to figure out who we are.
And are you seeing? I mean, have you seen your squad progress and learn? I mean, as you said, you're challenging, trying to get them to come along here. Have you noticed that week to week they starting to pick it up and play a little bit better for you?
Yeah, it was funny. With freshmen yesterday, we were just like, "Hey, go to the right and shoot," and he gets the ball, goes to the left and shoots. Then he gets the ball, goes to the left and shoot. And then I take him off and I'm going, "What did I tell you to do? Go to the right and shoot." He goes, I said, "Why?" He goes, "Well, I taught going to the left." I said, "Where are you at now?" He goes, "On the bench." I was like, "All right, so where should you go?" He goes, "To the right, coach." I'm just like, they just don't believe you.
Well, I guess that's one to make them believe. You can watch it for a while, and maybe you'll figure it out. Let's go to last night in Wichita, taking on Newman. You score early. Jets get it tied in the 80th, and then went down to the wire. You get the winning goal in the 87th minute. That was an intense, thrilling match that you guys came away with. Tell us about that a little bit.
Oh, it's hard to play at Newman. I don't know. It's just a weird place. I've lost there twice. Now I've won twice. But it's just a weird place. Like, the field is terrible. I wouldn't take my dogs to play in that field. Like, it's terrible. The referee didn't make any calls. They should have had a red card. We should have had a penalty. We had 2 disallowed goals. It's just everything that can go wrong goes wrong. But good for my team is we didn't get involved in all their nonsense of whatever. Just the team. Like, we had to change on the sideline. Like, it's not 1980. Give us a dressing room.
And I guess good for your guys to find a way to overcome that. As you said, that's not always easy, and you talked about the youth on your team.
Yeah.
Some, I guess it's a sign of growth, could have maybe let it affect them, but obviously it didn't appear that they did and found a way to get that win.
Yeah, I didn't think they could do it, but they did it. And, yeah, we did. Like, Monday we have 9 players out injured. We're playing players different positions. But, yeah, we somehow found a way to get it done, which hopefully is what we've been waiting on for them to kick on.
You had 4 more shots than them. It appeared, the stats, pretty even throughout that entire match for both squads, back and forth, and a pretty tight match all day long.
Yeah, not when you're coaching. I thought we should have been 6 or 7-0 up. Yeah, it was crazy how we weren't 3 or 4-0 up. Again, I think they're getting paid overtime or something. They just have to work harder.
All right, you're 4-5-2, 3-1-2 in the conference, and you mentioned it. You've been on the road forever. You could probably give us a nice dissertation on the scenery of Oklahoma, Kansas, everywhere you've gone on these trips. Arkansas. Now you get a chance to be at home. 5 straight on the road. You'll close out the majority of your matches at home. Hopefully now this team can get on a roll and as you said, just continue to progress it. But it'll be nice to get a stretch of matches here at home for your guys.
Yeah, it'll be good for me to sleep in my own bed, and good for them to be here and actually get on an opposite schedule. Because now we play Saturday at 6, so we only have 1 game this weekend. Then we have 2, then we have 1, and then we finish with 1. So.
All right, let's talk about Saturday, 6 o'clock here at home. Rogers State comes to town. They're ranked 22nd in the country, 7-2-2, 4-1 in the conference. Obviously a good program and a big challenge. What's going to be the key against the Hillcats on Saturday night?
I don't know. We'll have to get to training today and see who survived yesterday, because we had loads of injuries yesterday again. But, yeah, they play a different formation. They only play with 3 at the back. They're in your face. They run a lot. Yeah, they're different than anybody else in our conference. They're athletic, but we're at home, so
well, hopefully it's a good start of a good stretch for your guys. It sounds like they're hanging in there, and as you said, I'm sure as a coach it's frustrating when you have a young team and they're not where you want them to be, but it seems like they're slowly getting there. And as you said, hopefully this will be a good start to that, and you can finish this team strong. And who knows, see where it goes the rest of the year.
Yep. We hope so. Yeah, all we can do is take 1 game at a time. So.
All right, sounds good. Jerry, as always, appreciate it. Thanks for the update. Good job last night, and good luck on Saturday.
Cheers, thank you.
You bet. That's Jerry Cleary again, 6 o'clock Saturday night at the Fort Hays State Soccer Stadium. The Tigers taking on Rogers State. Tiger Talk brought to you in part today by the Taco Shop. Whether you order by phone, use their handy app, dine in, carry out, or delivery, you've never had it so good. The Taco Shop, they've been a Hays tradition since 1970. We'll talk women's soccer. Tyson John joins us after the break right here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
The Golden Q is the place for football and food. Friday night, when your team is out of town, stop in for your favorite burger and watch the game, plus catch every NFL game with the NFL Sunday Ticket. Want to enjoy the game from home, but still eat the Golden Q's tasty food? Use their app to place an order to go, or use DoorDash. Then, when it's time to blow off some steam, head to the Fort, duck pin, bowling, axe throwing, VR, and check out their huge outdoor patio. Book a party room for your group or host a large gathering at the Fort. The Golden Q and the Fort in Hays.
Shane Watts, the running back, who gets the handoff. Nope, Dawson's going to keep it, run behind Watts, and take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Fort Hays State. It's a 2-yard touchdown run by quarterback Jack Dawson, who ran right behind the running back Shane Watts. And Fort Hays State, with back-to-back touchdowns, now leads 20-9 with 11:53 to go in the third. There's more of the action from Saturday in Joplin. Fort Hays State knocking off Missouri Southern. We'll talk with head coach Chris Brown here in just a little bit, but first we're going to talk some women's soccer. Before we do that, though, we'll give you a quick volleyball update. Jessica Wood-Atkins couldn't be here today. We'll get back with her next week, but they went 0-3 last week since we talked to you last. Lost 3-1 here at home to Missouri Western on Thursday, lost to Northwest Missouri State on Friday, and then last night falling to number 9 Nebraska Kearney. So they're now 7-11, 1-8 in the MIAA. They'll continue the 6-match homestand this weekend. They've got 3 more matches. First Friday night, 6 o'clock, Missouri Southern will be in town, and they're having a shoe drive, so bring a pair of shoes to the game. You get in free. Saturday, at 6 o'clock start, Central Missouri. The Jennies will be here. That's the annual pink game, so wear your pink, and you'll get in the chance to watch the Tigers for free. And then next Tuesday, they'll be at home again as they will take on the Hornets of Emporia State. That'll be a 6 o'clock match, and we will have that for you right here on KAYS. Our coverage beginning at 5:45 next Tuesday as the Tigers wrap up the homestand with the Hornets. All right, now we're going to talk some women's soccer. Tyson John joins us. Tigers going 2-0 since we talked last Wednesday. On Friday, had a 2-0 win over Newman, and then Sunday had another shutout, 3-0 over Central Oklahoma. Congratulations. Your gals kept it rolling. Good weekend at home for your guys.
Yeah, it didn't start out great on the first half against Newman. But, yeah, we found our feet and had to pull out the hairdryer at halftime and get them going. For the rest of you, that means I had to yell at him.
Well, for those who can't see, he has no hair, so we knew it wasn't being used on you. So we had another
definitely was not. But no, once we got to go into the second half, you let teams like that into the game and let them kind of feel like they have a chance, and that's dangerous to what we're trying to do. And then, in the second half, we went out and really asserted ourselves and really dominated the rest of that game. And then, on Sunday, Central Oklahoma is one of 3 teams that has won the MIAA since 2012. And so they've had a few mixed results before coming into that game. They drew with the top team in our conference at the moment, Central Missouri, and then they also drew with the bottom team in the conference in Missouri Southern. So, yeah, I just said, look, whatever we're looking, we're right now, obviously in a 3-way tie at the top, and if we want to have a chance at winning the conference, like, these are games that we have to get it done. And so they did just that, and I was really pleased with that.
Going back to Newman, a case of maybe overlooking them a little bit by your team, or just didn't play well?
No, I mean, I think that when they come out and you expect a team like that you're just going to go out and they're going to give it to you, and that's not ever the case. And so they came out because they know that everything that we've done up to this point is that we've asserted ourselves as a good team, and so they have nothing to lose, and they came out and they played with confidence, and I was really unsure of why we were not.
It took to the 63rd minute for your gals to score, and we've seen this. You've been a defensive team, and sometimes it takes a while, but it had to be a little bit frustrating that it took that long.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, we have been known as more of a defensive team, but spreading the goals around now, I think we had 4 or 5 goal scorers over the weekend, so that's always good to be able to have. I think it was 4. But yeah, we can't just rest on that, and the longer you let teams stay in the game, they have chances to be able to snag a win or snag a result, and we can't afford to lose any points at the moment.
Yeah, you outshoot them 21-8, but kind of evidence is, as you said at halftime, 12-1 differential in the second half. Your team a lot more aggressive.
Yelling at them worked.
So it does work. It's good to know. Isabel Robbins, 6 saves on the day, and she had obviously a great weekend. We'll talk more about her, conference goalkeeper of the week. She's had a great year, but a good job in that one to help preserve the shutout, and then again against Central Oklahoma as well. Really good job by her in goal.
Yeah, she's really calm and composed, and she does a good job of keeping our team really composed, and she controls her box, and she's really good at communication. And whenever she comes out, I know that she needs to come out and get it, and I always can tell if they've missed a shot or whatever, and she puts her hand up and goes like, I'm not going to die for it, like it's going wide, and she's right the majority of the time. So very calming for me on the sideline as well.
You mentioned against UCO, you had Riley Madden scored in the 21st minute. Hannah got you in the 61st, and then Skylar Forrest in the 79th. Riley and Skylar, first goals of the year. Good to see that. Some other people finding the way to get the ball to the back of the net other than your main goal scorers.
Yeah, I mean, we've always been dangerous since I've been here on corner kicks and free kicks. Riley's always one of those ones that finds the space, and she did just that. And sorry. And then, Skylar scoring late in the game. It was a great goal. Took the ball across her body and kept it low and off the inside of the post and in. And so, that's a team that, like I said, we've only beat them 3 times in history. My first result over them was last year in the tournament when we hosted them here. And so 3 times in 13 years is
it's not a lot. It was good to see.
It doesn't necessarily always go for us, but since I've been here, we've drawn with them and now 2 victories. So pretty pleased with our team and stepping up and asserting ourselves, like I said, in the conference. And if we want to win, we've got to be able to beat teams like that.
We'll talk about the conference race and upcoming, but we kind of touched on a Riley Madden Defender of the Week in the MIAA, and Isabel, the Goalkeeper of the Week for your squad. 7 shutouts so far this season. That leads all MIAA goalkeepers. We talked about her having a great year, but nice honor for Riley as well to get the Defender of the Week honor.
Yeah, and I mean, Riley's very, very consecutively good for us. Like she's very confident. She's very good on the ball. She knows when to step up and she knows when to drive the ball forward. And so I think it's still also a team effort. And that's where we talked about it with them at training yesterday when I said, look, we're celebrating individuals. They're still celebrating us and us as a group. And that's a true testament to everybody and what everyone's doing right now. And we like those individuals to be celebrated because it's a team effort.
But you usually don't get them unless you win, and it takes the team to win. So that usually, as you said, it's kind of like all conference. I mean, those who do well, it's because of their teammates. I think they're quick to acknowledge that. You mentioned it, 3-way tie for first right now. Washburn, Central Missouri, a lot of soccer left, but starting to get to the point of the year, every match is important, but now you just feel that added importance every time out. You'll be on the road here for 5 of your last 6, so a big challenge here to try to close this thing out here in the last month or so of the year.
Yeah, I'm going to take my first trip to Tahlequah. I've heard that's quite a good place.
Ask Jerry. He knows how to get there.
He does know how to get there. But no, so I've heard it's a long drive and it's a windy road, and so we know that we got to get it done, and Northeastern's one of those teams that they beat good teams, they've drawn good teams, they lost to teams that are sometimes questionable. So when it's conference, they were a team last year that we drew with that they finished a little bit lower in the table, and really they were one of the games that I'm not sure that we deserved the result that we got. I felt like we were kind of lucky to come out with the draw. So not a team that you overlook in any way, shape, or form. And then the same thing with Rogers. Mm-hmm. Rogers has beaten good teams, drawn with good teams. And so, every game's gonna come down to, what we do and how we show up.
That'll be Friday, 7 o'clock with Northeastern, Sunday, 1 o'clock at Rogers. Both will be on the MIAA network. And the fact you are tied for first, regardless of where other teams are in the standings, and you touched on it, teams just don't lay over in this conference. You're going to get their best shot regardless of where they stand.
Absolutely, and right now we control our destiny because if we can go and we can win out, then there's nothing else that can happen in the conference to stop us from winning. So it is still up to us. It's harder when Washburn was undefeated, we would still have had to beat them, and that would have put us over the edge. But you still got Central Missouri in front of you. You still got Kearney's now picking up points on people. Washburn drew with Northwest, which was a result that we were able to get earlier this year. And obviously, our only loss was to Washburn, so we hope to return the favor.
All right, sounds good. Just go win them all. That's a great plan. Go out and win them all. We don't have to worry about it.
That's the goal.
All right. Hey, we appreciate it, Tyson. Safe travels. Good luck this weekend in Oklahoma, and hopefully a couple of more victories when we talk to you next time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
That's Tyson John, head women's soccer coach at Fort Hays State. Again, Friday and Sunday on the road at Northeastern State and Rogers State. Tiger Talk brought to you today by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, the most comprehensive orthopedic care in Western Kansas. Learn more by going to haysmed.com/orthopedics. We'll talk some football. Chris Brown joins us when we return right here on Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, Tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here.
It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM.
He comes in motion, first and goal. Dawson hands it off to Shane Watts, angle to the right, takes it into the end zone. Touchdown, Fort Hays State with 3:39 to play in the game. The Tigers now lead at 36-22. And welcome back to Tiger Talk. We're live at the Robins Center inside on the Fort Hays State campus, part of Tiger Club. And again, we'd invite you to join us by joining Tiger Club. Your donation to Tiger Club goes towards scholarships. Get a great meal on Wednesdays, so you can go to Fort Hays State Athletics office or get online, find out more details. But we'd love to have you join us here every Wednesday for Tiger Club, part of Tiger Talk here on the Tiger Sports Network. Fort Hays State football invites you to join Tiger fans with a plan. If you're going to be drinking, always designate a sober driver. We're joined now by head football coach Chris Brown. Appreciate you joining us. I know you've been battling a little bug here the last couple of days, but we appreciate you joining us. Congratulations. Nice win on Saturday. And I know as a coach you always find things that didn't go well, and that's your job to try to be as good as you can be. But I thought a pretty solid effort, minus a few little hiccups here and there. But you guys really played well for about 60 minutes on Saturday.
Yeah, we had some mistakes in that game, but our guys fought through the adversity, which is always good to see. But there's still opportunities in that game that we didn't take advantage of. After the turnover, which could have led to a field goal, our defense lets them go down and score, and they retake the lead. So it's just those little things like that just as a coach upset you. We put the ball on the ground twice. At least one still was a touchdown, but then Tillis lost it in the open field, and we got it back, and those are things we got to eliminate. But there's times for defense to get off the field, and we just didn't get ourselves off as well. But it's on those turnovers, and our defense just keeps letting teams score. That's something that we got to start eliminating.
I thought. Well, big in this game is your team always had an answer. When something bad went on, or maybe didn't capitalize, or Missouri Southern did something and scored, your team had an answer. That hasn't always been the case here the last couple of years. That was good to see. When they got pressed in this game, they came right back with a big play or got a touchdown, retook the lead, and kind of reestablished control in that game.
Yeah, it is good to see. Finally getting back to how we used to play, and our guys compete and they battle all four quarters, and it doesn't matter what happens. They're playing for one another. Offense is playing for defense, and defense is for offense, and our special teams is playing for both sides of it. But this is a great group of kids. They truly care about one another. They play hard for one another, and that's all you can ask for. And if this game our defense didn't play well, but our offense picked up the slack and scored enough points for us to win this ball game. So sometimes that happens, and then sometimes offense doesn't play well. Defense, we got to shut them down and make things happen as well. So at least we're working together as a team, and that's something you didn't see the last 2 years.
You ran for 199 yards, and you were over 200. I think you would have been like 23 straight wins when you rushed for over 200 yards, but you went to the victory formation. You lost a couple of yards, put you at 199 officially, but good to see. And you did it against Lincoln. You ran the ball well, but it was Lincoln, and no disrespect to them, but obviously they're going to struggle to win a game this year. This is a little bit different story, and it maybe isn't the best defensive line you're going to face, but it's a good Southern team, maybe a little bit more weight in what you did, but it's good to see the running game get established once again.
It was good to see us, actually get some movement up front, get into the second level, and it was good to see our backs, see the holes that they needed to hit, and tight ends pulling around sometimes and making the blocks that they need to, and then even seeing our receivers get downfield and make blocks too. So it was really good to establish that run game, and hopefully we can continue to do that as this year goes on and even get better at it, because if you can run, and there's a lot of different things you can do in a ball game.
Shane Watts ran for 96, his best game. Also caught a touchdown, ran for a touchdown. And you mentioned the backs finding the holes. It seemed, anyway, from where we're watching it, they were a little more patient. And I know you've said at times maybe they get to the hole too quickly and don't let it develop. It seemed like they would let the blockers do their thing, and then they had the crease, and then they attacked it hard. Was that a good assertion by us, or were we just seeing things?
Yeah, you're probably just saying things.
I'm sure we are. Okay.
No, you're right. They have been more patient, and that's our hardest thing to do as a running back, because you just want to get the ball and you want to go, but you got to let all that stuff develop, and you got to press the heels of the offensive linemen and make linebackers over pursue, and then cut back behind them if they stay where they're at. You just stay on the front side, but they're doing a better job of it and being patient with and being patient, letting the blocks develop and seeing it. But still, you got to be pretty quick when that hole opens because it still closes pretty quick. But they're starting to get, starting to have an understanding of what we want to get done, and you can see that, the last 2 weeks.
Brandon Kerr back at center, and that just seems to, a calming influence among those guys. And I know you shifted the O-line up a little bit at the Western game, and you've kind of, other than Brandon being back now from his injury, it's kind of been that same group. Are you seeing some cohesion with those front five?
Yeah, and Brandon, he just brings some grit and some toughness and some meanness to the game. It's just kind of who he is. I mean, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he is one tough kid. I mean, he really, truly is, and that just brings toughness to our offense as well. And you can start seeing things develop just like you did in this game, just the double teams and when to come off and not to come off, and understanding what we're trying to get accomplished. And it is starting to come together, and hopefully this week it's even better than weeks on before that. It's better than that.
I want to ask about Jack Dawson. He threw for a touchdown. He also threw an interception. He's thrown 6 this year, 3 of them in the end zone. And I don't know what it is sometimes when he's near the goal line with some of those passes that gets picked off. It seemed like he played a pretty good game except for a few mistakes, which could have been very crucial, but you guys overcame them.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the one in the end zone, we have points. I mean, 2nd and 6, just take go down, throw it out of bounds, do something with it. And sometimes it's just him being young and trying to make a play and made a mistake. So he's still learning from those things. He got a good, chewing from Coach Brown after that pass. But, he's learning and he's getting better. I mean, he does some really good things with his feet as well, and, runs when he needs to. He probably could have scored, on that play when he threw that interception. But he's just a kid trying to make a play. And, he's still developing, but you could tell he's more poised in the pocket, this week. And then when he needed to run, he ran. So if he can continue building on those things, he's going to be a very good quarterback for us.
Bryson Smith back after missing the Lincoln game. That was good to see. I think he had 4 catches, and he had the game was still in the balance. And that third, I can't remember what it was, 3rd and 4, you go for 30 yards. He makes an incredible catch. And if his momentum doesn't carry him out of bounds, he scores a touchdown, and you put the game away there. You eventually go down and score a TD to get you the 2-possession lead. But that was a big-time play, and it was good to see him back on the field.
It is. He's a tremendous athlete. He can run. He runs very good routes. He's faster than what you think he is because he's just so smooth. And, just his burst, after he catches the ball is tremendous as well. But it was good to have him back. We got some talent at wide receiver. We really, really do this year. And it gives, it's options for Jack to throw to, too. And, and a great tight end and Kale as well to throw to as well. So he's got some weapons there. And those guys just need to keep making plays for us. And if they do, we'll probably win some more ball games.
Yep, Trevor had 8 catches, 5 for Bryson, 3 for Shane Watts and a TD. Corman, he had 4. Horace and Dixon each had a couple, and Tillis had 1, so really spreading it well. Fort Hays State hosting Nebraska Kearney this Saturday afternoon. We'll talk about that here in a minute. We also had some questions we'll get to the coach from our audience and online. Remind you that Tiger Talk brought to you by BTI. They're your John Deere dealer with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. More with Coach Brown after the break, right here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at HaysPost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country, 99 KZ Country.
Fort Hays State by 13. This could be the game. A pass across the middle. It's intercepted. It is picked off by John Johnson. And Fort Hays State gets a takeaway with 1:48 to go in the game, leading by 13. John Johnson, the Dodge City Junior, with his first career interception. Well, the Tigers go on to win it on Saturday, 35-22. They'll host Nebraska Kearney this Saturday. We'll get into that preview in just a little bit. But first, we did have a couple of questions. Ironically, one for you, Coach Brown, mentioning 3 talented running backs, 3 mobile quarterbacks, and a more agile and athletic offensive line. Have you considered running the option more as you get ready to play an option team?
No, because we haven't done very much of it. So there's no sense in trying to throw it too quick. We did run it once, though, with Jack and Bryson at that one time, that one play. So that's about the only option play that we ran right now. So right now, we will do some quarterback run stuff, but not so much with the option.
And that's something you either do it or you don't. It's hard just to add as you go along, and that's kind of an offensive philosophy. I mean, if teams that run it all the time or a majority of the time. You're going to face one Saturday in Kearney who does that, but that's a tough thing because there's a lot of timing and a lot goes into that to try to run that effectively.
So much into it. I mean, especially if you're reading the end for the handoff, or now who's our pitch key and all those different things, and then teams try to do so many different things to you to stop the option with, maybe an end's going to the quarterback and somebody else is to the dive now, or the end's to the dive and the linebackers to the quarterback, and with all those things going on, it takes a lot of practice to get good at it. So it's maybe sometime in the future, but when football gets back to being football instead of being so spread, just hard-nosed, get after football, it might be a time we put that back in.
Another interesting question in-house here today. How many do you travel with players, support, coaches, and all of that? I know that's changed a little bit in the conference. It used to be limited.
Yeah, we travel probably with the 3 games as well for kids to redshirt as well. We travel probably about 70 players, 12 coaches, 4 managers, and then we got trainers as well, which is probably another 6 to 8. So it's probably a travel party about 90 to 95 people.
I know you used to be limited in conference to, what was it, around 60 all 60. You could take, I think?
58, and then it went to 60, and then they kind of none now.
Yeah, well, and with the freshman rule of being able to play in 3 games and still count toward redshirt, that's changed things a little bit. All right, let's talk about Saturday. Nebraska Kearney, Lopers come to town. They've got a new coach. They're 2-4, but that's a little misleading. They've been in some close games. Or 2 of their 4 losses to Pitt and Central Missouri, and they were in those games at halftime, and they kind of got away in the second half. Kind of a scary Loper team in the sense that they were a playoff team a few years ago. Everybody talking about them. They're not now, but still pretty talented. Just have struggled getting some wins and some tight losses.
They are. They're going to be tough to defend, and even their defense is tough as well. And you got T.J. Davis that you have to deal with. Not just in the run game, but also in the pass game because he does throw the ball pretty well. And if he gets pressure, I've seen him break many of them now for 50, 60 yards. So, we got to find a way to keep him in the pocket and keep pressure on him. And, they don't run the option as much as they have in the past when Coach Lynn was there. But, they still run it enough that you have to prepare for it. So, that's what we're doing this week is preparing for option and trying to keep it pretty simple so guys know exactly what they're doing. Then offensively, they bring so many different looks at you defensively with blitzes off, the edges and, coverage changes and different things like that. And it just seems like offensively and defensively each week they've kind of changed, what they're doing. So we got to prepare for everything. And when you try to prepare for everything, sometimes you don't prepare for anything. But so we're just trying to really hone down on what we think they're going to do to us. And hopefully we're right.
You watch them, and there's times it's like a hockey line change on defense. A team will make a substitution. They bring 7 new players in. It'll be interesting to see how if they do that again, because as you said, it's kind of been game to game for some of their schemes defensively.
Yeah, because last week against Central was there, they were bringing smaller guys on the front line just to maybe try to get a pass rush and do some twists and things like that. Then all of a sudden you see big guys out there. So just trying to figure out when they're going to bring those guys in, and hopefully. We see it as well, and we take advantage of it with some of our run game and stuff like that.
All right, should be fun. It's the Tigers and the Lopers. It's always a big game, always a lot on the line, and hopefully it's another good game for the good guys in black and gold.
I hope so. Thanks, Gerard, and happy birthday.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks for getting it out with us, and hope you're feeling better by Saturday. That's going to wrap it up for Tiger Talk. Again, reminder, 1 o'clock kick this Saturday at Lewis Field. The Tigers and the Lopers will be on the air at noon with the Tiger Tailgate Show on Tiger Radio Mix 103. Tiger Talk brought to you again today by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, BTI, and the Taco Shop. We'll see you again next Wednesday. More Tiger Talk from the Robbins Center right here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC. Voice of the Tigers, Gerard Welbrock, inviting you to join us for Tiger Talk Wednesday afternoons at 12:10 on KAYS. The show is part of the weekly Tiger Club meetings live from the Robbins Center on the Fort Hays State campus and brought to you by Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, the Taco Shop, and BTI, your area John Deere dealer. That's Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club Wednesdays at 12:10 on 94.3 FM and 1400 AM KAYS.